We heard earlier from Fatimata that it is youth leadership that is really driving some of the most determined conversations and opening up new prospects for real progress and change. And that is why I'm so pleased next to introduce our next speaker, the UN Association of the United States Youth Observer to the United Nations, Dustin Liu, who I am very proud to be able to work with over the next year at the UN Foundation. Dustin, it is over to you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Cousins. It is such a pleasure to join you all for this important event. As the U.S. Youth Observer to the United Nations, I have the immense privilege of connecting young people to the work of the UN. And over the past month after assuming this position, I have been on a listening tour, connecting with young people across the country and hosting conversations to hear from them directly about the global goals. I come to you today filled with inspiration after hearing the stories of how young people are working locally while thinking globally and showing incredible initiative and leadership in pushing towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Changemaking can be difficult, especially in this moment of converging crises. But when I think about these stories of young leaders stepping up to face global issues, I am filled with energy. Young people are bringing these conversations to the table. I think about a young woman I spoke to just last week in Wisconsin who is writing letters to the administrators at her school on the imperative to include SDGs as a topic in her education. Young people are encouraging civic engagement. I think about Day on Democracy, a youth-led organization focused on creating a more accessible democracy by removing barriers to political participation on college campuses. And young people are building communities of social change. I think about the UNA USA campus chapters on over 120 college campuses, mobilizing a movement of young people to care about global issues. Growing up, I believed that global issues were to be left to the grown-ups, that there were things that were too difficult for us as young people to understand. I was wrong. I am here to reaffirm that we as young people understand these goals because of our proximity to these global issues. Young people are being affected by global issues every day. Just this weekend, I heard from a group from Jackson County, Oregon, who participated in our listening tour. They shared about how they are being evacuated from their homes due to fires exacerbated by climate change. Young people understand that communities are on fire. They are stepping up to organize mutual aid and support those who have been impacted. Young people we spoke to throughout the month have lost loved ones due to systemic inequities in our country. They understand that Black and brown bodies are being murdered, that communities of color, people with disabilities, members of the LGBTQ+ community are experiencing a disturbing opportunity gap. And these young people are using their voice and agency to move the needle towards a more equitable future. Young people bring not only the awareness and lived experiences of these issues, but bring to this moment energy, creativity, and hope. Youth leadership is critical to achieving the SDGs. I strongly believe that the capacity to make change grows over time, and by involving young people, you are playing a role in the development of change makers that we need. Time and time again in my conversations with young people, I have heard stories of adult allyship, of institutional commitments to center youth voices, and the impact that has on youth representation. I think about my time as a student trustee at my alma mater, an institutional commitment that was aimed at uplifting student voices. That platform allowed other student voices to join the table as well, and it built in me the change-making tools that have brought me here with you all today. It is only when we radically rethink the way we involve and integrate youth voices at the local level, the federal level, in universities, and in boardrooms that we are able to fully realize the power of youth leadership in this moment. To close, I invite all who are on the call to think about a single tangible action you can do today to ensure that young changemakers are given the opportunities to show up and be heard in the spaces you lead. Young people have the appetite for this work. Young people are already leading this work. Imagine what we can achieve if we are working in partnership with each other. When young people ask me why they should care about global issues, I share that we are experiencing such complex problems. We need every single person on board to realize the change we hope to see. And I invite you to play a role in making that reality possible, to center youth voices, and to honor the innovation, creativity, and stories that young people can bring to this moment. Thank you for your time. and I hope that you all keep good health and good spirits. I'd now like to welcome our co-host and UN Foundation colleague, Casey Brown, for closing remarks.